So the application is broken up in two pieces. It's part website where you go to create the strategy, and then part desktop application where you go to interact with your strategy. Anyway, so conceptually, Minus1 is basically the combination of a tactile whiteboard and a virtual assistant. It can work with any game. I'm showing you the website right now. I'll go to all games here. So right now I just have Rainbow Six on there. If I want to add a game, I just go ahead and search the database. This is looking up a different database from a different website that has all the games available. So I'll just go ahead and do Call of Duty. I'll just do Call. Make a search for that. And so yeah, so now I'm searching up. So I can add any games to the website. I'll go ahead and add one of these Call of Duty games. Go ahead and add it. And so I added this to the website. And so now what I have to do is add every single mode, every single level, every single location of the level, every single respawn, all the loadouts, and you can just easily add that. I won't, spend a lot of time doing that, but just want to show you. Just add anything. I'll do Ash here. Yeah. Exactly. So there's two different ways to do it. I'm just created a character Ash. So the character Ash has been created, and so the idea is that you don't have to add every single one. You just have to add every single one you want to use, and then once you've done a majority of the work, it'll look something like this. Let's go back to all games. Yeah, and the modes, the level respawn, so that. And then once you have all this filled out, or the majority of stuff that you want to use, you can go ahead and create your strategy. So I'm gonna go ahead and this is like the back in the admin section. Let's see. All right, so now you see the strategies. All right, so lists of all the strategies are all my personal strategies. So you have personal, your team strategies, and you have all the strategies. So let's go ahead and create a new strategy. So I'll name it. So I need to pick a particular level in a particular mode. And if yes, that's another way of saying that. It's same thing. And then the mode, hostage, bomb, secure. I'll go ahead and if I want to tie this strategy to a team, I can do that as well. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and create this. So I created the new strategy. Go ahead and click on that. Okay, so this application is built modularly. So you can clone different pieces to create another strategy, clone an entire strategy, and work from there. So ideally, we'll be having like this voting system on which strategy are good, bad, and you can have that as like your blueprint, and then edit the strategy down to where you want it to be. So not every strategy you need to create something brand new. All right, so anyways, every strategy has different objectives, right? So that's how strategy is built. It's built on objectives. All right, so I'll go ahead and make a new objective. So objective is built by an action and a target. That's like the main purpose of objective. So this action could be something like attack, and we could say printer room. And here you have all the locations. That's why it's important to have all the locations of the particular game you want to play. Another downside of this application is that it works only if the players using the application know where the printer room is at. That's where the target is at right now. So the application will say, attack the printer room. If you don't know where the printer room is at, the strategy is not really going to work out for you. So that's one of the downsides of this application. So how the application assigns objectives to different players is randomized. One way to not make it less random is to change the priority level. So the higher the priority, the objective will get assigned first to the operators. The lower the priority, it'll get assigned later. So 10 is the lowest, and then 1 is the highest, and you can change whatever number there. And so this field here is just saying the minimum number of operators that need to be assigned this objective, and you can also assign the maximum number of operators to us to assign to this objective. And operators is another way of just saying players or teammates. I use the word operators. Yep. And then I have this area here where you can stack objectives. So each objective is you're only gonna have one objective at a time. But let's say you want, after you finish one objective, you wanna assign this group another objective. You'll go ahead and link objectives here. And then I have another option for dependencies. So in this state, you won't start an objective unless another objective has already been completed. And then another field here is just to delay. So once the game has been started, or once the commander, and the commander is my way of saying leader of the team or whatever, he can delay the objective for X amount of seconds. And then you go ahead and create the strategy. So I create that objective. So you have your objective here. It's a minimum of 1 operator, maximum of 1, priority 10, which is a default normal. And the objective is to attack the printer room. All right, pretty basic, and you can have strategies just like that. I can create another. I'll go ahead and create another one. Now I'm defending the plaza here, and I'll just go ahead and create that. So we have 2 different objectives. And then 1 player, because we assigned it this way, will get assigned to each one. Right. Okay, so, and that's basically it. That's the high level, that's a high overview, I guess the commander's view of the strategies. You just go ahead and attack here, defend here. It's pretty not that complicated. There's another layer, maybe the operator's view of the strategy, and we call those recipes. So this is what I want you to do as the commander, and the recipe is how I want you to do it. They're optional. You don't have to have any. You can just say, hey, attack the printer room, and then you let the operator figure out how to do that himself, right? But if you want to get a little more explicit, you can create recipes, and this basically tells you how I want you to do it. So I'll go ahead and create a recipe for the attack the printer room. Alright, so I created the first recipe, and anyone can create recipes. So the commander can create a recipe for this objective, and then everyone can have their own recipe if they want. You know, different way to accomplish this objective, and then maybe perhaps the commander can approve, disapprove the recipe for the objective or whatever. We have comments and stuff like that. So go ahead and go into this recipe. And you see here at the top here, we have the strategy, the objective, and now we're on the recipe. Getting a little lower details. So the first thing is the ingredients of the recipe. So you can assign loadout, characters, respawn. So if you want to say, hey, make sure when you have assigned this objective, you have to respawn at this objective, at this respawn point. And you can pick whatever respawn. I don't have any respawns available yet, but I think I do have characters. I haven't added any. We do have characters, so you can add a character here. So whenever you're using this recipe, you always pick the character Ash, and this will be done before the game starts. You know, I'll show you that in the demo, other part of the demo. So that's your ingredients. You have loadouts, characters, and respawns. You can add as many as you want and go wild on that. And then you have also directions, right? And this can be anything. So I just say go up the hill, and you can create. These are pretty much step-by-step instructions that you create to complete this recipe. And you can say something like, throw a smoke. Let's say we're going to attack the printer room. Throw a smoke grenade at the first step. Climb up the red ladder. Go through the vent. Step-by-step instructions to complete this recipe. It's very specific, very detailed. Not only that, you can add the recipe and then let the operator decide if he wants to use it or not, right? So it's very flexible in that. You don't have to have a recipe. It's very optional, So yeah, so that's that. That's the creation of the strategy. Okay, let me go to the teams real quick, and then we'll get on to the thing. So you make a team. If you want to put a password, it just makes it so. Yeah. So anyone who joins this team needs to have the password. That's all that is. And maybe I'll do a different way, like an application or something like that. But I'm just making it real quick so that it's real easy. You go in here, you can manage your team and what roles they want and how it manages the strategy. And remember, the team is not necessary to use the strategy. The team is only necessary when you want to build the strategy. That's basically what it's. You're making a team to build a strategy, essentially. So it needs it all to do that. So yeah, so that's basically all of this, the website part, the creation of the strategies. And list strategies.
Rainbow Rush, Storm, First Blood.
Switch strategy, Rainbow Rush.
Rainbow Rush selected.
Respawn recipe.
Red Tunnels.
Character recipe.
Blackbeard.
Loadout recipe.
Primary M4A1 with front grip.
Strategy recall.
Rainbow Rush.
Recall objective.
Attack printer room.
Execute strategy.
New objective. Attack printer room.
Directions recipe.
Climb the red ladder and smoke the printer room entrance.
-1 direction.
Crawl through the vent.
-1 objective.
Freelance activated.